Welcome to This Explainer. Today we are diving deep into the hidden biological operating system that's literally running beneath every single moment of your human experience. We're going to discover exactly what's happening inside your deeply interconnected body when you try to wind down for the night. We'll reveal why a seemingly harmless evening habit might actually be quietly reshaping your emotional resilience, erasing your memory without you even knowing it, and altering your biology for months at a time. We're investigating the profound, often totally invisible collision between alcohol and sleep. So, you know the exact feeling we're talking about, right? You have a quick nightcap just to take the edge off a really long day. You fall asleep instantly and you're thinking, great, I've hacked my biology for a good night's rest. But then boom, you jolt awake at 3 a.m., your heart's racing, you're sweating, and your mind is suddenly just spiraling with anxiety. So why does a substance that acts as the ultimate sleep aid initially end up violently destroying your rest just a few hours later? Well, let's unravel this biological paradox. To get to the bottom of this, we really need to understand how we often confuse two completely different biological states. I'm talking about sedation versus true restorative sleep. Sedation is, well, it's essentially artificial unconsciousness. You're chemically knocking out your cortex. Restoration, on the other hand, is a highly active, beautifully orchestrated biological process. It's when your brain and body do the heavy lifting: tissue repair, memory integration, hormone regulation. So the key takeaway here? Alcohol doesn't actually give you sleep. It gives you sedation. Which brings us to our first major concept, Section 1, hijacking the nervous system. To really understand this 3 a.m. paradox, we have to look at exactly how alcohol chemically hacks your nervous system. It's like this intense neurochemical tug of war playing out across a single night. In hour 1, alcohol enhances GABA, which is your brain's main inhibitory neurotransmitter, so you feel super relaxed. But by hour 4, as that alcohol metabolizes, your blood sugar drops. And to combat this hypoglycemic state, your body triggers a massive release of excitatory stress hormones. Fast forward to hour 6, and you've got a cortisol and adrenaline spike, causing those terrible fragmented awakenings. Your initial artificial sedative is violently counteracted. And as that initial sedative wears off, your brain is left in a state of total chemical chaos. Just think about this domino effect. Alcohol doesn't just enhance GABA, it actively suppresses your cholinergic system, literally blocking the acetylcholine that's absolutely required for deep sleep. On top of that, it disrupts your locus coeruleus neurons, maintaining this persistent level of norepinephrine that blocks deeper rest. And then, the kicker. It triggers rebound glutamate. You're literally flooding your system with anxiety-inducing excitatory signals right in the dead of night. In that chemical chaos leads us to Section 2, the erasure of memory. Now, the physical awakening at 3 a.m. is really just the surface level of this issue. That brings us to what I think is the most surprising discovery of this entire biological cascade: the things alcohol silently erases from your mind while you're completely unconscious. The staggering number here is 40%. Alcohol can reduce your rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, by up to 40% in just the first half of the night. It is actively eradicating the single most cognitively critical phase of your rest. It's wild to realize how alcohol structurally dismantles the natural architecture of your night. It severely bloats the lighter sleep stages known as N1 and N2. Now, it might give you a brief initial bump in slow-wave sleep, but it completely devours the REM sleep phase. And why does that matter? Because REM is the exact phase responsible for memory consolidation, procedural learning, and your overall cognitive longevity over the decades. You know, I never fully realized this until digging into the data, but by suppressing REM, you're chemically preventing your brain from performing what scientists call fear extinction. During normal REM sleep, your brain is busy processing the stressful events of your day and literally stripping away the visceral anxiety attached to them. It's your built-in emotional reset button. So if you drink to manage anxiety, you are ironically shutting down the exact biological mechanism that would naturally reduce that anxiety for the next day. The stress literally becomes locked into your nervous system. There's a really fascinating, highly counterintuitive study on fruit flies that reveals this incredible evolutionary mechanism at play here. Alcohol actually tricks satiated brains into a survival mode memory pathway, one that usually only activates when an organism is starving and desperately needs to learn without sleeping. But because the alcohol simultaneously sedates you, it blocks this newly activated pathway from working. It creates this absolutely bizarre paradox where being asleep literally becomes detrimental to memory consolidation. Moving on to Section 3, inducing internal jet lag. Zooming out from the brain's memory circuits to the entire body, we find that this chemical hijacking systematically dismantles your circadian rhythms too. Your circadian clock, known as process C, is synchronized by something called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. While evening alcohol alters the cellular membrane fluidity in this very nucleus, it directly suppresses your daytime melatonin, delays its natural evening rise, and makes your entire system wildly hypersensitive to light. You're throwing your body into a state of internal jet lag, uncoupling your internal clock from the actual time of day, all without ever stepping foot on an airplane. Simultaneously, alcohol creates this really powerful thermal regulatory illusion. It floods your skin with blood through peripheral vasodilation, which is why you feel all warm and cozy on the outside. But internally, that's a whole different story. It's stimulating norepinephrine in your hypothalamus, altering your brain's internal temperature set point, and violently crashing your actual core body temperature. And during the second half of the night, as that alcohol clears out, your body fiercely fights this unnatural temperature drop just to return to homeostasis. The result of that battle? Rapid internal temperature shifts, intense night sweats, and continuous micro-awakenings. Your body is frantically trying to regulate its heat, which entirely disrupts the deep sleep drive you so desperately need for cellular repair. Which leads us to the fallout in Section 4, the REM rebound effect. Okay, so your memory pathways are blocked, your circadian clock is confused, and your body temperature is swinging wildly. What exactly happens when your brain desperately tries to reclaim the cognitive functions alcohol stole away? Well, as the alcohol clears your system, your brain realizes it's been totally starved of REM sleep. So it goes into overdrive, triggering a massive physiological overcompensation known as the REM rebound. It violently forces extended, super intense periods of REM sleep to fix the deficit. And let me tell you, this rebound is anything but restful. This metabolic whiplash is exactly why you might experience incredibly vivid, bizarre dreams or downright distressing nightmares right before waking up early in the morning. Your autonomic nervous system becomes highly volatile. Your heart is racing, you're sweating, and you're physically restless. You're technically asleep, sure, but your brain is essentially enduring a chaotic chemical withdrawal storm. And here's a crucial, often completely overlooked reality. This disruption isn't easily reversed. For those who engage in heavy, chronic drinking, your sleep architecture doesn't just magically bounce back the next night. Actually, even after stopping entirely, it can take anywhere from 5 to 9 months, and sometimes well over a year, for the brain's delicate sleep cycles to fully repair themselves. The recovery process is a true biological odyssey. Let's bring this all together in Section 5, Reclaiming Your Biological Clock. Now, understanding this interconnected devastation isn't meant to scare you. Not at all. It's meant to spark a profound transformation. Because once you see the hidden mechanics, you gain the power to optimize them. Notice this biological butterfly effect in action across your systems. A metabolic drop in blood sugar triggers a hormonal spike in cortisol, which wakes up your entire nervous system in a panic at 4 a.m. Meanwhile, muscularly, the alcohol relaxes your airway, worsening snoring and sleep apnea, further starving your brain of oxygen. Every single system impacts the next. And because of this massive cascading effect, we're looking at really significant emergent results across your entire lifespan. When you continuously disrupt these systems, you don't just feel groggy the next day. You're decreasing your emotional resilience, you're impairing your brain's neuroplasticity, accelerating biological aging, and heightening systemic inflammation. You are, quite literally, trading your cognitive longevity for a brief moment of artificial sedation. Every insight we've unpacked today points to one undeniable truth. Health isn't just some collection of separate, isolated habits. It's the emergent result of countless interconnected biological processes occurring every moment of every single day. That simple drink before bed, it's not just a behavior. It's a profound biological event that echoes through your memory, your mood, your cellular inflammation, and your long-term aging trajectory. So I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. Now that you can clearly see the invisible biological forces shaping the quality of your life and exactly how they all interconnect, how will you use this truth to genuinely improve your future? The operating system is yours to program. We just have to choose to use it wisely.